Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back.
Yay!
We missed some of you guys this week on our regular podcast. Unfortunately, my life sometimes gets consumed with work, and I don't get to come home for a couple days, or if I do, for only a couple hours. So, unfortunately, we missed you guys on Wednesday and Thursday. Apologize. We're working on making that up to you guys. So,
Howdy, JR.
yeah, Catherine is joining us tonight on a Friday Night AV. She is my special guest this evening.
Woo.
How you doing, beautiful?
Great.
So this is episode 8, and it's entitled "I Love Bass." Because I love bass, she loves bass, you guys all love bass, and that's kind of what we're gonna just chat about a little bit. Not too much crazy technical stuff.
We gotta show the sign.
Oh, Mark G made that sign for me. Caution, wet bass all over the house. You got to be careful around this place.
It's slippery.
It is. It's very slippery around here. So anyway,
What's up, Kevin?
so thanks for joining us, guys. If you guys didn't catch last week's episode with Wayne Camposa from the Philippines, we had an awesome time. Wayne does a lot of cool things, a lot of cool work, and he designs like some $1 million theaters, which kind of blew our mind. They actually offer a service where they can build a theater for you, and then you can watch it in VR before it gets built, which
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would like to just do that for fun. I think that would be a good time. So if you didn't check out that, go check that out from last week. Next Wednesday night, me and Kat will be on, and we watched a couple of movies. We're going to share a couple little movie reviews with you guys. Kat has built this monstrosity of a Christmas village.
Well,
No, it's kind of a monstrosity.
Hey, James. Hey, Kevin.
It's very big and very detailed, and we're going to share some pictures. And
next year will be better.
Yeah, so she's an interior decorator around this house. So every time we got people come over and they like how something's set up or something's done, it's definitely this lady over here. And then so we're going to share that with you guys. I watched Oppenheimer. Her and I watched Gran Turismo together, and we watched the new Mission Impossible together. And by the time we come on next Wednesday night, we would have watched the new one with Denzel Washington. Which one was that?
Oh, I know.
Part 3.
Is it Star with an E?
Equalizer. Yeah, good job. Yeah. So anyway, we'll give our personal thoughts. Just a quick little overview. This ain't a review channel, but we're just going to give our thoughts on what we thought about the movie, and I'll give my thoughts about how I thought it sounded.
Thank you, James. I put more hours than I probably should have in that thing.
Yeah,
I finally had to just quit, and I was like, I'll mess with it some more next year.
But you did a great job. I can't wait to share some pictures of it. And Kelly absolutely loves it too. So on Friday Night AV, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Next week, I'm going to have the designer and engineer, owner of Buckeye Amps on. We're going to be talking about Class D power, just new style of amps, and kind of how they're handling things. Buckeye's become pretty popular in the home theater world, so it's cool that I'm going to have the engineer on and the owner of Buckeye Amps, and we're going to be talking about power next week. The Friday after that, which would be December 15th, I have Matthew Pose and Don Dunn, both with Audioholics, going to come on. Matthew Pose, very well known, as well as Don Dunn is, and Don's been on the channel before. Matthew Pose has his own acoustic company, so and he's very detailed in explaining things. And even though this hobby consumes a lot of my life, my free time, even when he explains some stuff, it gets kind of over my head. But I still enjoy his very detailed explanation. He's very scientific. I think we're all going to learn something next Friday night. Or on the 15th. We'll probably learn something next Friday night too. And then, very exciting to announce, on the 22nd is my holiday special. Got the crew coming together. Kat's going to be joining us. We got Tony from JTR. Like I said, this is a community-driven channel, trying to give to the people what they're asking for. Somebody wanted a representative from JTR to be on, so I reached out to Tony, and a lot of us know Tony. Tony's a good guy, huge enthusiast, and he's going to be joining us. And then we got Mark G. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but was it Giovanetti?
I think I'm saying it right.
I think so too. No disrespect, Mark, for saying it wrong. I call him Mark G. Buddy of mine, Youthman, did a video on his theater. He's pretty well known in the home theater community as well. So he's going to be joining us. Tony GTR. Michael Stevens, Youthman's going to be joining us. And I got one more possibility of a special guest. I just don't want to announce it yet because we're unsure if he's going to be available or not. But regardless, it's going to be a holiday party. We're all going to come on here for an hour or two. Going to start a little earlier that day. And we're going to share our personal favorite audio and video clips that we use to test gear, talk about M-Wave, talk about GTR, just talk about the home theater hobby all in general, talk about all kinds of different brands. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to come and enjoy the holidays and enjoy the hobby with you guys. So I appreciate the special guests wanting to come on with me. Tango, what's up, brother? Good morning from Denmark. I just love my coffee this early. Great to see you too. Hey, it's great to see you too, Tango, that you're watching from Denmark and it's early in the morning. And here in Chicago, it's 9 o'clock at night. So it's crazy to think how this home theater hobby is drawing us all together from just different parts of the world and different cultures and stuff. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad you could join us.
What up, Henry? Said happy holidays.
To round off this year, so December is a busy month for this channel because we're going to end this year with Chris Seymour from Seymour Screens. You can't go to an audio and video or home theater event that somebody's not talking about Seymour Screens. He's pretty well known as one of the 2 or 3 major screen manufacturers. Super cool guy. When I let him know, hey, my audience was asking me about screens, I have limited knowledge. He can share about gains, negative gains, positive gains, acoustic, perforated, woven.
You're still saying that.
What?
Acoustic.
Oh, man.
I gotta give him crap all the time. I'm like, it's not acoustic, it's acoustic.
Well, see, this is why we do this live, so people can see me be an idiot. So anyway, he's going to come on. He's going to talk about screens. We'll talk about masking. We'll talk about what size screen, what kind of seating distance. Do you want to go Cinescope 16:9? But anyway, Chris is an awesome guy. So I've met him a few times in person, and I'm excited to have him on the channel. So the channel's been doing good. We got a lot of positive support from you guys, a lot of love. We're around like 830, 840 subscribers.
We're almost there.
We're almost to 1,000. And then we're giving away money and we're giving away AirPods. All you guys got to do, if you want to get in that, it's super easy. We can't wait to get back to you guys. It's our race to 1,000 subscribers. All you got to do is shoot us a message like race to 1,000. You're subscribed, livingitwithscottandcat@gmail.com. So we're like 85% way there. And we're giving away a couple $100 gift cards. We're giving away some Apple AirPods. And hopefully we're there in a week or two. And then maybe like a day or two before Christmas, we'll do the giveaway. So it's just our chance to get back to you guys. We get a lot of emails, a lot of private messages of people that are just wanting to support the channel. So special thanks to our subscribers, our Facebook group. If you guys haven't joined that, we got around 500 or 600 people on there. And we just kind of chat about different things going on.
Keep you up to date. Like we had to post that he couldn't make it on.
Yeah, like if we got to postpone something or we got something special or if we got to start at a certain time. So Living It Podcast with Scott and Cat Facebook group. I mean, it's open group if you guys want to come just hang out with us. So just another way for us to connect with our audience. And we certainly enjoy it. To our Patreons, you guys rock. Keeping my glass full because when I actually do get a chance to kick back and relax, it's hanging out with you guys and having myself a nice cold cocktail.
Speaking of cocktail,
yeah. So
GR sent me a recipe. I think I told you about that for a special holiday cocktail. We haven't got a chance to try it out yet.
And I got to be super careful, JR. I didn't look at the list yet, but Kat told me because I'm a newly found diabetic, so I've certainly had to change my lifestyle around. I was always the guy eating and drinking anything I wanted, and I thought there'd be no repercussions to that, and I was obviously wrong. So,
but it sounded, I can't remember exactly what was in it, but it sounded like something my oldest Kirsten would enjoy. And also, since I'm a bartender, I could probably throw it together at work and see how people fancy it.
So most of the time in my glass, if I'm having a drink, it's just vodka and water, or if I'm treating myself, it'd be like a vodka and sugar-free Red Bull. So that's what's going on with that. We wouldn't be doing anything here without our super cool sponsors. Like always, South Shore Plumbing at 7256 South Exchange. Yeah, Lance and John over there. We've been getting parts for them. For like 30, 40 years. I've been with my company for 24 years, and that's who I use to get all my parts and supplies. Those guys are awesome to deal with. So if you need something and you live in the Chicagoland area, plumbing, heating related, South Shore Plumbing's certainly the place to go.
I think I've only met Lance once, but I hear you talk about him all the time. Or you're always calling him, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Yep, I'll open up shop for you at midnight or whatever."
yeah, I get called out. For my work, I'm very emergency driven, offer emergency services. So I come and go all hours of the day, night. Actually, we were just talking because last Christmas I literally worked all day.
We had to start Christmas late. I think
at like 5 o'clock or something.
Yeah, something late.
So, and I worked all New Year's because we had frozen pipes in the building all New Year's. So
winter gets crazy. He'll be getting calls all night about frozen.
Yeah, got to keep Chicago running, man. So it's funny because a lot of people that are watching my shorts and stuff, and I post, and they're like, "This is some of the craziest stuff I've seen. I can't believe you do this for work." Yeah, I don't know, all that grease,
just a bunch of goop and
crap
and ugh.
Yeah, we get in some.
Sometimes he comes home, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
covered in things.
So another sponsor, Able Sewer Company, obviously the company that I work for, the family that owns and runs that company, I'm very close with them, big supporter of them. So if you need sewers taken care of anywhere around Chicagoland, hit us up. And Youth Man, you guys are watching us tonight because the Youth Man channel, Michael Stevens, good personal friend of both of ours, he donated the camera, and he's one that pushed us to get this started. So I wouldn't be doing any of this really unless he came and spent a couple nights here and hung out with us while we were throwing a big audio and video event at our house. And during our downtime, he was just like, "You guys need to do this," and here we are.
Here we are.
So we're just having fun, just hanging out with our audience and our community and chatting with you guys. And
we got hello from Wisconsin. What do we got? Georgia in the house. Different times. 10:08. Oh, my phone's going off.
Yeah, my phone goes off during this whole thing too. But you know what? Ain't nobody more important than our subscribers. Hey, Kat is thumbing through the. You know what's funny about these podcasts before we get into base, and we're going to be hanging out here for about an hour because yesterday was our oldest's birthday. She turned 23. And tomorrow we got to leave. Me and her got to leave here at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I got to drive her to the airport because she's going to visit her boyfriend
in North Dakota.
In North Dakota, where I hear it's very warm this time of year.
Crazy kids.
So, so I did like back-to-back 20-hour shifts. And then I got to get up tomorrow at 3 a.m. And then as soon as I get home, we have gymnastics for Callie. So,
tumbling.
So
correct you every time.
Yeah, I know. So if I'm up, I'm on the move. So looking forward to a little bit of downtime. I scheduled myself 40-minute break Saturday night, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. But anyway, what's funny about these podcasts, and I was just talking to a buddy of mine today about it. He's like, I don't even get into stereos or anything. He's like, I listen to music all the time, but I don't get into any of this. And he goes, I find myself listening. He goes, I just got done listening to you and Mark Seaton's podcast. He's like, and I listened to the whole thing, and 2 hours later, he goes, I can't believe that I just listened to somebody talk for 2 hours about stereo setups and
acoustic. No idea.
Yeah, like acoustical waves and stuff like that. He goes, it's just so much goes into this. He goes, it's just baffling that people know this kind of.
I've said the same thing that he did. Is like when we started watching Youth Man's their Sunday night podcast, and I could just sit there and listen, and I'm like, I don't understand 90% of what they're talking about, but they're just like funny, fun guys, and it gets you kind of involved with them and such. So
yeah, and Youth Man's podcast on Sunday night, the AV Experience, they answer a lot more questions on there. Very knowledgeable guys. I answer questions and stuff on here too. They just this is just kind of a different approach. But if you have like some serious home theater and questions, Youth Man and Ryan and Jonathan over there, they can get you set up, pretty straight. They specialize a little bit more in that. I answer questions and I bring guests on here too, and I'm down for that too. But if you want to get in kind of deep on some stuff, definitely check out their channel. They're a good time.
Lots of things too.
I know a lot of things too, but this just isn't where we kind of go with this. But speaking of those guys, so the M-Wave tickets went on sale today for the VIP experiences. I think a lot of them like sold out right away. I went through and I was looking at a lot of the time slots, and they're like completely. I think there might be like one or two available in certain rooms at certain times, but they launched today. General admission tickets, I don't think they'll sell out of those. Those are unlimited, but VIP experiences, I'm not going to speak for those guys, but I think they're like 80% sold out. So, good for them. They got a lot of cool rooms that they're going to be showing off outside of the event. It's an amazing event just in the whole for the home theater. And I've shown Kat a lot of messages I've got. People are like, oh my God, we're going to M-Wave. We want to meet you guys. We want to hang out with you guys. I just showed you that one I got from Warren sent me. Warren, if you're on, brother, I got your message. It's going to be cool to meet you at M-Wave. And that's why those guys put M-Wave together, was to just bring the small niche of home theater community together. So looking forward to meet. I met a lot of new people last year. I'm sure I'm going to meet a lot of new people this year. I'm definitely looking forward to the event. Another question, and I just got like 3 times in the last 24 hours. Is my event Base brings us together. Unfortunately, I don't have any new news on it yet, but I'm hoping the first week of January, that my first episode in January, I'm going to have a date and time of when my next event, which we will host about 50 people like we usually do, and just trying to get that figured out. I'm adding on a new experience to my experience. So we'll be showing off our personal systems, which is the 2-channel system in the living room, the home theater in the basement. Those are the systems that we own, that we get to enjoy all the time. But a question that I had often was, wish we could experience something just a little bit more normal. So I talked with Jeff with GTR, and he's going to bring in a set of one of his most popular towers, the 212s. We're going to set those.
I'm just getting over a cold.
We're actually going to set those up in my garage, and I might have an amplifier company on board to show off their product too. So then we're just going to have a regular 2-channel setup in our garage with a pair of GTR 212s, just feeding like 200 to 400 watts each. For the people that just want to experience, or just trying to dip their toe into a little bit higher end part of the hobby, you can check that out.
Oh, wait, speaking of Warren says, it's awesome how real you two are. It's fun to witness your YouTube journey. Thank you, Warren.
Hey, Warren, we mess up a lot in here, brother, and that's fine. We do everything live, and that's about as real as it can get. We don't do really any rehearsing. I might write a couple notes down just because people message me all the time of like, hey, can you bring this up or bring that up?
Sorry.
You going to make me a sandwich, honey?
Yeah.
Got to watch what we say. People are going to try to cancel me. So guys, we're on here to talk about bass. Why do I love bass? Why do you guys love bass? For me, I don't know. It's the excitement, man. Just tell me the first time you didn't just feel some of that low frequency on your chest. Draws you into the music, draws you into the movie. I've always been a big fan of bass pretty much my whole life. And even you, Catherine, you're a fan of bass.
Yes.
What way before I knew you, you had a little bass going on in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what did that consist of?
I know, I told you. You say it. Sorry, my throat is like really itchy right now.
You were rocking some Rockford Fosgate 12s and kicker amplifiers in your cool little Eclipse. Yes. Cool cat on the block with your beats.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like when the what was that series? Fast and the Furious came out. I had my little lowered Eclipse with my bass. I thought it was really cool at, what was I, 18, 19?
You were probably really cool.
Yeah.
I was probably working. So anyway, so a lot of people get into bass, and it's, for me, when I experience a theater, whether it be commercially at my theater, or I go to somebody else's house and experience their theater, like the biggest thing that I notice right away, and it's not judgmental at all, but it's just clear dialogue and good bass. Don't have to be excessive or extreme, but just good, solid bass and a clear dialogue. I can live with a subpar Atmos experience or surround experience if I had to, and I know that's super important to other people, and it is important to me too. But that's like the first thing that I get drawn to is I gotta feel it, man. So a I get into all of that, the calibration, the setup, the placement, everything for me has just got to be perfect. I'm literally the guy in my room. I'll sit in it all week, and if I got time, and I'll run 1,000 sweeps and do the setup, and everything's got to be absolutely as perfect as possible.
You've been doing a ton of those sweeps here the last.
Yeah, the last couple of days, because I made some slight changes in my setup.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not getting any sleep. Go to sleep, but you hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about that group life. I want a bumper sticker that says REW is life.
You got a question?
Well, we got to. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's why I have her here, because I'm so one tracked. I get in. I lose myself in the chat with you guys. So okay, it really helps out with the comments. What do we got going on here?
I put it up on the thing.
Oh, hello guys, Newby to your channel. Hey, that's funny, John, because I'm Newby. So welcome, brother. Would you sacrifice mid bass punch for more low bass for music and movies? No, I wouldn't, because two things. You're going to have a lot more content. You'll probably find 90% more mid bass in movies and music than you will in low end. Over the years, and it took me years, I was able to build a system that had plenty of both. But if I had to choose, and by mid bass, what frequencies are we talking? I mean, if we're talking like 30, 35 hertz and up, there's going to be a lot of content. I wouldn't want to really miss out on that content. If you're going to have to miss out on a lot of that to pull in a lot more like 20 hertz bass, I don't think that I would, because you're going to need so much. You're going to need so much at 15, 20 hertz to make it very noticeable. So no, I don't. There's just too much content mid bass. I'd hate to listen to, especially music. If you listen to a lot of music and you don't have that mid bass feel in your chest, I think that you would think you're feeling left out. What do we got here? What are you doing, Kat? Oh. How do you control the volume on a JTR subwoofer since there's no volume control? SVS has volume controls, even remote control on their subwoofers. Well, it necessarily isn't a volume control. It's like a sensitivity control that you can use to gain match to the output voltage of your preamp. When you set up the JTRs or any subwoofer, I mean, even the SVSs isn't technically a volume control. It's a gain control. But once everything is set up and tuned, and delayed and EQ'd correctly and gain matched with what other subwoofers you were using, then your trim levels you can use to just move the subwoofer up and down. But
But I'm just sitting there thinking like all this is like what? Like I just don't understand it. But it's so interesting to me to like hear people talk about like have so much knowledge on stuff, and then to me I'm just like I don't know.
And yeah, Pitts, we got into some of this, I believe, with Mark Seaton from Seaton Sound, and we'll have Tony on from JTR too, and we can dig more deep, and we can get more technical, or even we can get into a private chat and just dig in a lot more technical on this, or even. And I'll always, give a big shout out to Stephen Smith from the Home Theater Guru. He has very good, very detailed. He's an amazing teacher. I'm very hands-on. He's just an amazing teacher, has an amazing channel. And he's probably got an hour-long episode on just how volume controls, gain controls on subwoofers work, and how you use those to match with the preamp output voltage that you're getting from your preamp. So it isn't necessarily a volume control. It's a gain matching tool. Is what it is. James, hey, what's up, brother, man? Thanks for joining us, man. You guys are all going Christmas crazy over there too. I think you guys and Catherine will get along great, even though I think you guys may be a little bit more crazier on the Christmas side than her.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
But that's awesome, man. I thought I loved bass until I went from dual 12s to dual 18s. Holy cow, I didn't know what I was missing. Experiencing ultra low frequencies is definitely on another level. Man, I can preach until I'm blue in the face, James. 1 second.
You got a throat tickle too.
No, I found out that when I do a lot of talking, I get very parched. Is that right? Yeah. That's the same thing for me, James. I was very, very satisfied in my home theater journey. When I had a room full of Power Sound audio subs, a lot of bass, a lot of mid bass. I went from SVS to Power Sound audio, and I was like, I am done with subwoofers. And I've shared this story before. I was walking through Expona um, in Schaumburg, big audio and video event, and we weren't even close to the main rooms. We were checking out some smaller rooms, and we just heard like this very deep, low tone. And I was with my dad, and I said, "Man, we got to find out where that bass is coming from. That's crazy." And then we all we did was it just kept getting louder and louder, and we found the JTR room. And I've heard of JTR before at that time. This was years ago, and we watched some movie clips, and I was like, "Man, that's just crazy! That extra oomph and that lower octave and the lower ported subs." And I left there and I thought about it all the way home. And my dad knows me all too well. And even on the way home, he goes, "Oh man, you're going to be behind all that stuff, aren't you?" And that's how I ended up where I'm at. So you saying that it's addictive and that it's a big change, it certainly is. It took me a long time to get there because of the route I wanted to go. It took me a couple of years, but I finally got there, and I couldn't be happier. So I feel you on that, James. Henry Conga, 58 Oppenheimer has some serious subwoofer action. That it certainly does. And I enjoyed, like the visual effects even and the subwoofer, the LFE buildup. I could certainly feel it through my seats and just kind of all over the room. And we're going to be sharing our thoughts on that movie. Kat didn't watch it. She doesn't get into that kind of movie. I watched it. I enjoyed it, but I'll share more about that next week. But I agree with you. Oppenheimer had some very good audio to it. How many movies have 10 hertz or lower? Not a lot. Unless you're doing some BEQ, then I believe they're up to like a couple hundred movies that are offering 10 hertz or lower. It isn't even so much. I listen to some electronic music and that has 10 hertz in it. Some movies do go down that deep, but it's the sound signature I think that I enjoy from the lower tuned ported subs, and it just has that a lot like deeper, meatier feel to it, if that makes any sense. But I had a lot of subs that were tuned like in the teens and even 20, and when I got the 10 hertz tuned ones, it certainly changed the movie experience in all the movies for me, which I really enjoyed. JR, Scott, will you be doing a detailed tour of your home theater? Yes, JR, and I apologize because our scheduling on Friday night, I was already supposed to do this because I've had a bunch of people asking me to do a very slow walkthrough of my room and like a question and answer, just because people have questions on why I did certain things. And I messed some stuff up in my room too. But I had to cancel that Friday night because I was very sick. I couldn't even talk. So I will be making that up since I'm already completely booked for the whole month of December. I'll probably end up doing that on like a Sunday. But yes, I will be making that up to everybody, JR. It is on my calendar and just trying to find time to do that. But yeah, I'm going to do a whole walkthrough on the room. You can start that one. Speaking of infrasonics, I don't recall if you have tactile transducers in your theater. You may not need them given your JTR capabilities. Oh, I certainly do. I have butt kickers bolted to each seat. Not that I need them. They certainly add something because I'm kind of turned into like an ultra ULF junkie, I guess. It serves a couple of purposes. Is because of my crazy work schedule. Sometimes I get stuck in the theater later at night. I got a preset in my mini DSP. I just had a preset and it basically turns my subs down about 15 dB, turns the tactile transducers up about 15 dB. I can still listen at a decent volume, get a lot of rumbling, shaking in the chairs, and not have the subs destroying the house. But no, I do implement them. And a good thing, this is, for the people that have experienced them and don't like them or say that they're gimmicky, this is the thing, is it's all definitely in the tune. Because at our last huge get together, I had at least 10 or 15 people say, "Oh, you got butt kickers, right?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, were they on?" And I was like, "Well, then I did it right, because if they were on, you should know that they're on, or if they weren't on, you should know." So when they're absolutely tuned perfectly, which takes endless hours, you shouldn't know if you have them or not. What'd you say?
I said, I believe it.
Yeah, so I do have them, and it's when people experience it, they don't know if I have them, if they're on, if they're off. So it's all definitely in the tuning. But I wouldn't say that I necessarily need them, but I think they add to the experience, and then they offer the whole other flip side of offering late night viewing without disrupting the whole house.
What's up, Fred? What's up, Mike? Got people joining in.
Oh, nice, man. Hey, man, everybody, welcome to the party. We're about halfway through. We come on to hang out for about an hour. Our crazy lifestyles, unfortunately, only give us so much time. Like I said, I'm leaving for the airport here in a couple hours, so I'm going to try to catch a little nap for that. You know, what's funny is Kat was talking about her first subs, and I was trying to think back to my first sub experience.
My first, well, I was going to say that was my only one, but the RTJs are mine.
Yeah. Yeah, and you kind of really stepped up your game there, went all out there.
I just went from 18 from 2 12s in the trunk of my car, and then so RTJ Towers.
Yeah, I congratulate you. I
I like to do things big, Just go big or
I'm
go
I'm jealous.
Go from 0 to 100.
I'm very jealous.
Literally 0.
So my first sub, man, I was a young boy. But anyway, no, I remember my dad, he was really getting into like Dolby Pro Logic back then, and he bought a subwoofer, which I remember it was a BIC, and it was like a 10-inch 100-watt sub, and I think it cost like a couple $100 back then. And I was just amazed that this one speaker just only put out bass. And I was like, man, I love that. Like, you could shut off all the other speakers. I would just listen to that. But it was little. My dad had big speakers everywhere else, and there wasn't a ton for powered subwoofers back then, and like home theater subwoofers. So it was kind of, I don't know, it was like a revelation to me in the home theater game. I made a list.
Oh wait, hold on. Home theater gurus, you love subs. Learn something new every day.
Oh, Stephen Smith, what's up, brother? Hey, and I've shot out the Home Theater Gurus channel plenty of times, and I thought that I knew a lot about stereos. Never that I thought I was better than anybody else, for sure, but I was always like, yeah, I'm the go-to guy with my friends if you got a question. But I got stumped one night, and Stephen Smith was awesome. And you guys are spoiled now with Stephen's videos. He's got very nice, detailed, edited videos that you get to watch at your leisure. When I was getting into this, me and Stephen were texting each other at like 3 a.m. because I was having an issue with integrating like 11 subs in my room with different port tunes, and I hit a huge roadblock, and he helped me out. But Home Theater Gurus, I mean, that's gold in this hobby. If you're just starting out in this hobby, or if you're mediocre in it, or you're all out in it, his channel still offers a lot of good information. So, and he's a mentor to Wayne Pamposa, and look what Wayne's doing. Wayne gave him a shout out last week. So Stephen, I can never repay you, man. You helped me out that night, and I have short hair, but I would have pulled it all out. So thank you, sir. Definitely requires balance and transducers. Definitely, that could not be a more true statement. That turns an absolutely amazing experience into a gimmicky carnival ride type of experience. So I agree with that. What bass, Fred? That's all Mark G. He sets a home thinking up that stuff.
Yeah, start end game. Yep. That's how I roll,
Yeah, I took the long road, and you took a shortcut. Look, it took me 5 years to get my current room the way that it is, and you just did it overnight. I mean, a couple of beers and a couple of songs, and you were like, yeah, I'll take those.
He said, I was like State Farm commercial on texting Jake about his subs.
Yeah. Kat's like, who are you down there texting at 3 a.m.? I'm like, I'm texting Steven. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Steven, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was like, look at his bald head. So that's awesome. So I made a list that I'll quickly go through because we only want to be here in an hour, not for 3 weeks. So I was like, just like quick fire, write down whatever subs that I've had. And what was the first subs you guys had? Because for some reason, this intrigues me. So the first real subwoofer I think that I bought was like a Sherwin-Vega 15-inch 200-watt home theater sub. I don't even remember really where I bought it from, but I remember it was a couple $100. Wasn't really a real home theater sub because I don't think, and I was young, maybe like 15 or 14. I saved up some money from mowing lawns or something, but bought that sub. Not very impressive, but I certainly had a good time with it then. But I had a Klipsch RW12D, the Klipsch RT12 with the 312s in the triangle configuration. I actually ended up with 2 of those. I had 4 of the Klipsch KW120 THXs. Now this is a sub that introduced me to infrasonics. I bought it at a time when I shouldn't have spent that kind of money on it. And I bought a demo unit, but it was a Velodyne DD18, which to me at that time was a pinnacle of subwoofers. And a dealer was selling it at an awesome demo price. I bought it. I used it for like 6 months. I absolutely loved it, but it was a financially good decision. I was lucky enough to actually unload it for what I paid for it. So, I would actually not be against buying a Velodyne DD18 now that I'm a little bit older and I could buy it, but I don't know what I would do with it. But it's kind of has a little bit of nostalgia to me because it kind of steamrolled this ULF thing I've been going through. Had a bunch of Definitive Technology subwoofers. I know, don't throw me over the coals. They exaggerate their frequency response like crazy, but I did have a couple Supercube references, Supercube ones. I tried the Paradigm Sub 2 before I went the full JTR route. I tried the PSA TV42. I drove and listened to both of those. I had a Gotham actually in home in our last house that a dealer that I bought a bunch of amplifiers and stuff from let me use for a weekend. For the cost, I wasn't, for a $13,000 subwoofer, I wasn't super impressed. It was a good sub. It just didn't have a good price tag for what it offered. So I'm not talking bad about it. I think that it did perform great. Just definitely wasn't worth that price.
Just not like the heart attack level that you want to give.
Yeah,
people, the deafness.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah, I want to feel the pain. Say, you're sitting here talking. We got to do another 150 dB demo with you now, but this time with the actual music on and with the subs up all the way.
One day.
Yeah, so we're gonna have that coming up. So I went through my SVS phase like a lot of people do. SVS makes good subs. We know that people want to argue back and forth about their value in that. I mean, value is an eye of the purchaser. I went through the SVS phase. I think they make good products. Some of their products are competitively priced. Some are certainly overpriced. Regardless, I still think they make decent subs. But I did have a PB13. That was my first SVS sub. I actually enjoyed it. And that was back when they were selling really good subs. Pretty affordable. So I had 4 PB2000s. I had a pair of PB16s that I pre-ordered before they even went on sale. I did SB2000s. I had 2 of those. I did 2 SB3000s. I did 2 PB3000s. So I had my fair share of SVS, and you never catch me saying anything bad about it. I had a good time. To me, the PB16s were overpriced. I used them for a couple of years. I sold them to a buddy of mine that still uses them to this day. The price he got them for was awesome. I just think that they're a little pricey as you get into their higher end models. I don't mind paying for performance. I just don't think that was the best performance.
Did you have car systems?
Yeah.
I don't remember if we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, I had car systems. I had a Blazer that I had 6 JL W3s in, 6 12-inch subs with 2,000 watt amps. And then in my Camaro, I had a Kicker Soliberic Square. And then on top of the Kicker box, I had my nitrous bottle mounted on top of that. So
you were cool too then, huh?
Not as cool as you. I mean, I wasn't Fast and the Furious cool. So I was just quickly rattling off some of the subs that I had. Power Sound Audio, I went that route too. I don't got nothing bad to say about those guys. I enjoyed the shit out of their subs too, but I had the PSA V1801, V3600, 2 3611s, an XVE15, a V1500. I drove out to the Power Sound Audio shop multiple times to pick stuff up and to just, chat with the owner out there. And then I actually drove out there when I was moving my room to the extreme side. I drove out there to check out the new TV42 that it was releasing because I was either going to go with the GTRs or I was going to go with the TV42s. And so, I mean, obviously everybody knows the route that I went with that. And then I got the RTGA 18s that Kat bought in the living room.
I seen Radio Shack in here.
Oh, whoa. Where's Radio Shack? I had an Optimus subwoofer. Where's the Radio Shack guy at? I want to see that.
Mike Stevens was talking to, he's got those 2 right there. 8-inch RCA. I don't know what that means.
Oh, RC. Yeah, you don't remember RCA? RCA used to make TVs and stuff.
Yeah, no, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's just an 8-inch speaker, 8-inch subwoofer on clearance at Radio. Man, I miss Radio Shack. Man, dang. Talk about nostalgia. First sub was a PSW 505, James. Hey, man, those were super popular. Steven, huh? So what's Steven wearing? Oh, that's funny. That's the State Farm commercial.
Yeah.
That's awesome. James. Sorry, my eyesight goes like shit. I don't know if it's because I'm tired all the time, but I wanted to go with SVS until I saw Home Theater Guru's video on the Hammer DIY build. That's when I decided to just build them to like teams I have now. Definitely, James. The bang for the buck, man, in the DIY world is, I mean, you can't beat it. So I don't think anybody's going to argue with you there. And me personally, I would definitely rather have the 18s as well. So good move, man.
Mikey said, yo, Radio Shack. I miss that place.
I do miss Radio
We've
Shack.
talked about Radio Shack multiple times over the years.
I spent a lot of, I mean, I remember so many weekends, me and my dad going to Radio Shack because he'd be working on something or fixing something or needs something or woofer replacements. You know, my dad used to listen to a lot of music. We'd have to go pick up extra speakers to fix his broken speakers.
Your dad just got some new stuff, didn't he?
Oh, man. Shit. Since we're talking about bass, I guess we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
And this is a downer, so make everybody sad. So my dad bought a new Klipsch RP 1600 SW. He bought one, and I was actually pretty impressed with it. Especially, he got an awesome price. They went on sale for like $1,200.
He got it for Black Friday, right? Got these.
Well, it was actually before Black Friday. They went on sale, so he bought that one. He's like, "I'm going to buy one. I'm going to try it out." I've been getting great reviews. So he tried the one out, and he had the Klipsch SPL 150s. He had 4 of those before that, so he still had the 4 of those and bought one RP 1600. And we compared the two, and the RP 1600 definitely outperformed the SPL 150s. Deeper bass, better bass, louder bass, which makes sense. More powerful amp, bigger box, definitely a better driver. They reconstructed that whole series. So he's like, all right, that's cool. I liked it. Now I'm going to buy another one. So I bought it. I went over there yesterday. I helped him carry it up the stairs, which isn't the easiest of tasks. We set everything up. He's like, well, I'm going to just plug it in and make sure it turns on. So he plugs it in. And the little green light on the front on one is very bright that you can see with no problem. This one was so dim that he could see it. I actually couldn't see it. And we're like, oh, shit, that ain't good. I was like, well, maybe it's just a bad LED. But we hooked an RCA up to it. We maxed out the gain control. And it had quite a bit less SPL than the other RP 1600 by about like 10 dB. And yeah, any test we ran on it proved that there was definitely something wrong with that sub. So we carried it back down the stairs. He actually got it boxed up today, so it's going to get sent back. So that's actually a sad bass story. Sorry if I brought everybody down, but thanks for bringing that up, Kat.
I was just going to.
Yeah, I can. First real sub last century was a Valdyne F1800, a steel foundation cabinet and amp, and ULD series driver. Hey, man, you know, back in the day, Valdyne, like I had the DD18, because that was my pinnacle sub that I wanted. And like I said, I prematurely bought it when I wasn't ready for it. But Valdyne, I mean, that if you were about bass, nobody was looking past Valdyne. I mean, not when I was growing up or younger, like in my teens and that, Valdyne was certainly top of the heap. So
here's one. I think it was up there. I think.
I didn't see it. What's the difference between ported and sealed, and why did you go ported, and can you mix both? Well, this can be a very complicated question and answer, but we will briefly go over this. You can mix both. I've mixed both in my theater, and it's, if you're tuning correctly and you have room to verify the changes that you're making. I was running 12 subs in my room, and 4 of them were sealed. The rest were ported at one point. And every time I added on a subwoofer, I was making a positive summation. So they weren't fighting against each other, or where they were, it was never making a negative effect. So you can mix them. It's certainly much easier not to mix them, but they can be mixed. It's not completely impossible. You may end up. I don't know the rest of this question. You took it off there.
Oh. Sorry.
You.
Oh shit.
I guess I'm done with your question, sir. No, but But no, they can definitely be mixed together. It might not be as good as staying with completely sealed or completely ported. If you're not going to tune them together, then I definitely wouldn't do it, because you can have some cancellations and some weird stuff going on, and time alignment stuff's going to need to be done regardless. So if you're going to mix them, make sure that you take the time to tune them properly.
You just taught me, like, I think last year, a year or two ago, what the difference between ported and unported subs were.
All right. Well, then let's see if you remember it, honey. What is a ported subwoofer?
It's got the hole in it to pull in the air,
No,
right? To let the air out. That's what it was. Yeah.
And what's a sealed subwoofer?
It's sealed.
Which means
It's sealed.
no, that's right. That's basically right. So
Mike says a moment of silence.
so the
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
so the difference between ported and sealed, basically, in a quick way to explain it is the biggest difference is a ported sealed is obviously it's going to be much larger because they got to tune for the port. The subwoofer is going to have a lot more output at that tuned frequency. So, in my case, like the GTRs I'm using are 10 hertz ported. So when you get into like 15 hertz and lower, you see a natural rise because the port is coming into play. So you get, let's just call it free bass. You get a lot more bass at that frequency around that port. The only ported subs that I've ever really gotten into myself are the lower tune ported subs. I had this problem with the Klipsch ported subs that I had, that because once a ported sub goes past its port tuning, it pretty much falls off a cliff. So for the system that I was building, why you're asking why I went ported, is I wanted ultimate amount of ULF output. So I wanted a low tune subwoofer with an extreme amount of output. Now I could get the same kind of output with sealed subs, but I would need, instead of me running 14 18s, I would probably have to run like 20 or 25 sealed subwoofers in my room for the same output. But the sealed subwoofers would actually play deeper because they don't have as fast a roll off as a ported sub. So it's really what's important to you. Ported subs are usually much larger, more expensive. They're just more pain in the ass for them to be built, for them to ship. Shipping is more expensive. The boxes are bigger, the boxes are heavier. But if a ported and sealed sub are both built both built correctly, they can be very powerful. You would just need more sealed subwoofers to get the same amount of output as the ported subwoofer. The reason why I went ported in the theater is because I wanted as much ULF output as possible. I didn't care about the cost of the size. That's just what I wanted. In the living room with the RTJ setup, they're sealed. Say we wouldn't have the room for ported in that room, and the sealed design fit with that tower package that RTJ was building. But we've had plenty of people. Do you think that the sealed system upstairs lacks space?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So there's a lot
of. The window, like literally the house flexes in the kitchen and you're sitting there. The window's like.
So I think there's a lot of misconceptions with subwoofers. Now we're not comparing. If you're comparing very cheap subwoofers, then there could be a lot more differences. But when you're comparing just like, let's say a good subwoofer to a really good subwoofer, is they offer good bass. As people think, oh, a ported sub is sloppy or a sealed bass doesn't have enough output, that isn't the case. If you're listening to a good subwoofer and it sounds sloppy, that means you got bad tuning. You can watch the impression video. It's on my playlist that YouthMate did, where he's taking people's impressions. One guy was actually convinced that my theater was filled with nothing but sealed subs. He's like, that's why you go sealed. The sound is just so tight. That's why I love sealed subwoofers. Well, my whole room is filled with ported subwoofers. So if you hear a good subwoofer that sounds sloppy or slow, you're not listening to the subwoofer. You're just listening to a bad tune. I'm a fan of both. I like sealed for certain reasons. I like ported for certain reasons. But I don't want to take up all the time, John. If you want to hit me up like in a private chat or something, I'll talk subwoofers.
He does. He'll always be in bed. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like,
and I'll show her just a list of people that have wrote me.
I'm just writing this guy about subwoofers.
And I literally try to get back to everybody, and some people I miss or some people I don't know, but Yeah, every night when I go to bed, I go through my work emails, everything for work, and then I open up my chat, and there's like 20 people in there asking questions or just something. So, trying to do my due diligence back to the
Like you
community.
said, ported. It's got a hole in it. Put it on a bumper sticker.
Yeah,
I'm smart.
that's my girl. But you were right. What else we got going on in the chat? Now, after several, my current 15-inch is a 15-inch Valdyne, 12-inch Energy, and just bought a 19 GSX 1200s, but no infrasonic. Yeah, Mike, you sent me that picture earlier on Facebook in the chat of the like 20 subwoofers you just bought. So I'm a big supporter. Go, Mike! More subwoofers, more better. So hey man, when you get into the infrasonics, you'll find out it's just as addicting as the mid bass, and then you'll end up with like 40 subwoofers, and then I want to come over and hang out with you. So
Mike says a moment of silence for Scott's dad. Dad's dead on arrival sub.
yeah, it was limping. It had a broken leg and a broken arm, and I felt bad for him because I knew his excitement. I was excited for him, and hopefully in a week or two, it's
on
all.
Thanksgiving, he was talking about it to me. He was excited about ordering his second one.
So, Home Theater Guru. My first sub was 1999 JVC Home Theater in box with a 10-inch sub. A month later, we got our first PC, and 6 months later, I had found one SD, and the rest is history. For your information, that JVC AVR still works. 24 years old now. Well, first of all, that's amazing. That something lasted 24 years in the electronics world. So kudos to that. And yeah, man, I know you're all about that DIY world, and that's best bang for your buck, no doubt. And that hammer sub, due to how many people in this home theater community have built their own subwoofers because of that video you made. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, check out his channel. He put together a very detailed list. You could literally build your own subwoofer that outperformed a lot of like $1,000 subwoofers for like half the cost. It was, yeah, and it was a fairly simple build too. So I'm seriously, if you guys haven't checked out Home Theater Guru's channel, man, do yourself. And I don't get paid a nickel every time I say that. I'm just saying it's good information, man. If you got some time on your hands. Tango, what's up, brother? My first sub was a Dolly SW12 I got back in 2001. Didn't like it much. Tried to show him Vega 15-inch sub. It was okay, but now I use the M&K X15 Dominus sub. Yeah, just by reading those subs, I would definitely say the M&K was probably the winner, just like you're saying, Tango. I mean, M&K's, it's a staple in the game. They know what's up. They've always made good subwoofers. I've heard quite a few of them. I've always been a fan. So, congratulations on that. I had a Sherman Vega sub too. It was loud. It just didn't really offer really good bass. But I feel you on that.
Oh, how many? Oh.
Brian, my first sub was a Valdyne. Hey. Man, it was sad to see Valdyne. I think, and I might be wrong, but I think Valdyne might be making a comeback in some kind of way. Like somebody either bought them out or bought the name, but I don't know if it'll be as cool as the nostalgic Valdyne. But yeah. So.
I thought you were taking over.
Oh no, you're at the control, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, you were doing it, son.
Oh. Fred, I started out with the Onkyo home theater in a box, then got a clip sub, then upgrade to SVS PB Ultra 13. Now I got 2 JTR RS1s as near field and 1 SVS PC 4000. Hey man, Fred's over here having a good time. I had the SVS PB 13 Ultra, man, and when I bought that sub, it was, not cheap, but I like what they were offering. You could do a tunable sub, 13-inch, get like good 15, 16 hertz performance. And I don't want to think I paid more than like $1,100 or $1,200. Which obviously isn't cheap, but they were certainly, man, knocking out some great bass deals back in the day. So that's awesome, man. And hey, the RS1s, I already know I'm a big fan of those, brother.
Mikey, that's what I'm worried about. Is going big with my sub, shaking the house to pieces.
Well, I don't know. What did you message me earlier when I was downstairs?
Yeah, I literally just finished setting up my Christmas village on the dining room table, and like his theater's below it. I mean, a little ways below it. And I'm like, dude.
And I'm in a different part of the house.
Yeah, you're in the basement. I'm like, dude, you're shaking all my Christmas things are going to hit the floor and break, and I'm going to have to kick your ass. So cut it till after Christmas. But no, we definitely have had, like, we get some cracks at the ceilings. I mean, our house a little bit is taken because of the base.
Yeah, and I've blown the ceiling off in the theater,
Yeah.
which that whole ceiling needs to be come out.
And then like the screws on under the flooring, like have poked holes in our vinyl or whatever vinyl plank flooring because the screws are come loose. So then, I mean, that's not everywhere, but in a spot or two. So it happens.
Yeah, it can. It is what it is.
I'm waiting to break a window for real because, you know, at the last gathering we're sitting, you know, everybody was in the kitchen and you could just literally the whole wall was just the window. Like, stop.
If I break it, I'll replace it.
Then you're gonna have to replace all of them because you can't have one window that looks one way. These,
we'll
these are
board
probably original windows from 1982, so you're not gonna be able to find a replacement.
No, these windows were replaced like 8 years ago.
No way, were they?
Yeah.
Shows what I know.
Poorly designed examples of each alignment exist. Great examples do too. Certainly, yes. No doubt, and that's even at different price points too. Man, we've seen some very poorly designed, expensive subwoofers. I think sometimes people just throw stuff together and put a fancy name on it, put a big price tag, and people think that they're buying something great. That's kind of what's revealing, like when Audioholics and stuff does their in-depth testing, and you're like, oh man, I thought for that price or by that company's name that they would have performed better. Or then you see these cheaper products performing awesome, not cheap, but I mean like $1,000, $2,000 sub outperforming a $4,000 or $5,000 sub. So it's definitely it's all in the design. If the ported sub isn't designed correctly, it has to be done correctly. I mean, same with the seal too. So
That's it. How many portholes is optimal? Asking for a friend.
More holes, more better.
I would have. That's what I would expect out of you. That kind of answer.
Yeah, that's just me unfiltered. But this is kind of the philosophy I've always had in life. I guess you just want to have as many holes as you can handle. You don't want to have too many, and you don't want to not have enough. So that's my 9:57 p.m. answer to you, sir. Or you can tell your friend because that wasn't for you. You know, that's funny. That's the same guy. He was the mentor for Wayne, and he built like a showroom. He just built a new house, and your house
I've heard
is
you
beautiful.
talk about him.
Yeah. So it's funny. I remember this was a while back, but he was talking on one of the groups about. He's like, yeah, we're gonna put sound like panels and soundproofing in our bedroom, and we were all like, well, why would you need to do something like that?
That's great. Get it?
Yeah. Well, he's worried about portholes, or his friend is.
Here we got how many?
I was just going one. That's not bad. That is honestly the first issue I've heard on anyone with the new clips. I have a friend that has 4 of the 1600s in Europe. Hey, Mikey, and when my dad got his first one, we were both super impressed for the price and how it compared to the SPL 150s. Yeah, and he's like, after just playing with it for like an hour, he's like, yeah, I'm definitely going to order another one. So no, he's getting it taken care of, but it's
disappointing, yeah, because he was excited to have them both. Yeah. All right. How many amps and mini DSPs do you have, and how do you have them configured per sub?
I got all of them. Configured per sub is definitely like a whole nother topic and issue that I could talk to you until we're both 10 years older than we are now. But pretty much how that is. Well, each sub comes with its own built-in amp. Each sub has a 6,000 watt, 220 volt amp. So I got 7 subs. That's 7 6,000 watt amps. I bought an identical amp that's in those subwoofers. So I actually have 8. One of them stands alone and powers the butt kickers. So each butt kicker sees 1,500 watts. So I have 8 subwoofer amplifiers, and then I have 3 other amplifiers that power all the Atmos channels. So in my space in my room, I'm running 11 amplifiers. Configured per sub, I run 3 mini DSPs. Each subwoofer in each butt kicker has its own or I'm sorry, the 4 butt kickers get treated as one, and then each subwoofer, everyone gets their own channel for their own alignment, their own EQ. I get to control each subwoofer completely on its own, and that's what I wanted, was have full control over everything. I don't have them grouped together, even though I might have got away with doing that. I just wanted to have complete control of each of them. So that's pretty much how mine's up. It's a little bit, when I did this initially, they didn't have the Flex 8 out yet. So if you want to do a bunch of these subwoofers, Mini DSP has new DSPs out that can handle more. Do not buy the 4x10 HD. I have one. It cost me $600, and it's almost about useless. It's not completely useless. It's almost useless to HD. And even Home Theater Guru that's on here, me and him had this discussion, is I got kind of screwed. I bought it before my room was done. I was convinced that the HD would be like the 2x4 HD by having time delay that was available up to 80 milliseconds. Because the reason, for the people that don't know, if you buy a 2x4 or a 2x4 HD, the HD gives you a lot more milliseconds for time aligning subs, where the original one don't. So when I bought the 4x10, I bought the HD because I automatically thought I would have as much time delay as I needed, and that's not right. I was definitely crippled to only 9 milliseconds time delay, and that's not going to work. And I'm still upset about it to this day. So
Edgar says you should have sold it before you said it was useless. That's great.
You know what, Edgar? I wouldn't do everybody
Edgar,
like that.
Do you want to buy it? We got whatever it is for sale.
You know
It's all
Edgar.
yours.
You know Edgar, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we took a picture with him out front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
Actually, I got to go by Edgar's house. Edgar's got a lot of cool
Edgar,
things.
so when you come next year to like get together, we got you.
Yeah, hey Edgar. Yeah, I'm gonna be selling that, man. You're gonna need it with those new subwoofers you're looking at getting. That's an awesome unit. You can't beat it for the price. I bought it for $6. I'm selling it for $575. Only 4 years old. Edgar's. I'm gonna be making my way by Edgar's house. He's got a lot of cool shit going on. So once he's all
Is
settled
he the one?
in-
I think somebody in here said something about going. Didn't you say he's from Texas?
No, Edgar's just north of us. He's got a bunch
Oh,
of
Mike says you also.
Mark
okay.
Seaton subs in his house.
Oh, sorry to cut you off. I thought I seen something about Texas. I can't keep up with them. Oh, what did I do with it? Yeah, I'll come down to Texas to visit sometime when I get the room built. I love Texas. He's never been, so we actually need.
Well, we are going to Texas because we gotta go visit Ray.
So,
Ray's been up here twice, and Ray just got his room finished.
Oh, yeah, I
So
remember Ray.
we're gonna be. Yeah, Ray just flew up here from Texas and spent like all day and all night with us. So and now he's got a room full of 21s and 24s and 15s. So we're certainly going to be.
Oh goodness, at the portholes.
Oh, James, yeah, YouTube Home Theater Gurus. Oh,
I was trying to take it off and you hit something at the same time.
oh
So, all right.
no, I was just sharing the home theater, the shout out for him. Definitely, James. You know what's up, man? It's sometimes when the comments go by, they go by so fast.
Oh, that's funny. Hold on. He said 10,000K subscribers giveaway. Yep.
Oh yeah, the 4x10. Yeah, you know, because that's what I want to be known for, is screwing the community. I feel like they sent me this piece of shit. I use it, and not because I think it's a good product, but because I got to justify that I spent that much money on it. So it does get used.
All right. James is heading out. See you later, homie.
Hey man, thanks James for stopping by, brother. And hopefully we see you next
He's gonna
next
watch
Wednesday
some
or next Friday.
Christmas movies.
Yeah, well, his house is a Christmas. All I do is need
Yeah,
a
right.
live feed to your house, James, and I feel like I'm watching a Christmas movie. James and his wife went all out. They got a beautiful home. They are Christmas out. They're like the Griswolds over there.
Yeah.
They're all Christmas out.
Crazy. You would never let me do that ever. That's so much. You'd be like, where are we going to store all this? And he plans on going live on your get-together event for people who can't attend. That's a good idea. Maybe for a little bit.
Well, some of our friends have very bad mouths.
Oh.
You know, I mean, they're like, that's stupid mouth, you know, and that is a good question. Usually, Youth Man said that he wants to be involved now with my yearly event. We've obviously become close friends. He's all about bringing the community together, and he wants to be at every event. The Base brings us together that we host every year. He is much more technical with YouTube in it. Obviously, he's got a huge following. it'd probably be a lot easier for maybe him to set up, and maybe we could do a live stream. And actually, our channels are tied together for another event, so possibly, yeah, maybe we can go live for part of it and just stream it through my channel and his channel for the people that just kind of want to check out the live event. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'll talk to Michael about that.
Every port you plug lowers the tune, but it increases port velocity as well. My friend Googled that. What's with all this? He's got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of friends. He must be popular.
Well, he's got a lot of hairstylists. Yeah, and that's definitely true. And I noticed that by when I was doing like the SVS, and I know the monolith is the same way too. But yeah, as you can lower the port tunes, but then you can overdrive the subwoofer by not having enough port available. I mean, even when I was running the PB16s, I could get it to chuff at times because there wasn't enough open port. So I always thought that they should have made more ports. But I see the new monolith, they went with 4 round ports. I get asked about chuffing on the GTR all the time. I've never had mine chuff, but I guess that if you were going to run like a 10 hertz sine wave at max volume with the gain all the way up, that you probably could make it chuff. I think any ported sub you could push it to make it chuff, but on a really good sub that's designed and DSP correctly, I think that you would have to purposely try to make it do that. I hear you clicking over there, ma'am. Yeah. What are you clicking?
He said, just sign it, it'll double the value.
Yeah.
You might want to look through some.
That's awesome. Tango. What's up, brother? My old movies came to life by going from 35 to 15 hertz. Definitely, man. Definitely. What I find funny about your statement here, Tango, is I had all the SVS subs, but I came from Clips subs. SVS offered more lower bass from the Clips I had. I was like, man, I got to rewatch all my movies. Then I went from SVS to PSA, and they went even lower. I was like, I got to rewatch all my movies. Then I went with PSA down to the JTR, and I had to rewatch them all again. And it's strange that the frequency, obviously, in the movies stay the same, and not even necessarily that they're offering a lot in below 20 hertz, but they definitely sound different. And to me, it was just a more impactful experience. To me, having a subwoofer say that's good to 20 hertz, and you got a movie that's playing at 20 hertz, and it's playing at its maximum output, if it sounds any kind of strained or anything like that at all, it definitely takes away from the experience for me. So over the years, as I've tried to build my system up, I personally have just went more for having as much ULF output. I want to say that I would ever need, but I definitely use my capabilities sometimes. And I find it fun and exciting. Sorry guys, I lost Catherine for a moment, so now I'm looking. New owners at Valdyne, they recently released a Deep Blue series. Yeah, I seen that they got new owners. I don't know. Are these legitimate new owners? I mean, are they trying to bring Valdyne back to the glory days? If so, man, then I completely support that. I just hope it ain't somebody that just bought it because Valdyne was known for having a good name, and they're just trying to make a quick buck. So I personally haven't seen any reviews or anything on the new subs from Valdyne, but I hope for the home theater community that they're doing good. Any plans on going live? Oh, sorry, I read that. You can always plug the holes. You can, but a lot of times when you
have to plug holes.
I do. That's one of my favorite pastimes. You can always plug the holes. That's true to an extent, but like when you plug the holes into the monolith or in any sub that comes with pluggable holes, when you change the setting on the sub, it changes the DSP to accommodate for you plugging those holes. It isn't recommended to just take a ported sub and plug the hole. That's not a good idea.
Oh, somebody, hold on.
Oh, yeah, Mike. Here, let me bring this up. Yeah, Stephen did bring this up about the non-HD, but I want to make this clear that that's the non-HD for the 2x4. Do not buy the 4x10 HD because it's still limited to 9 milliseconds. And everybody's like, why didn't you return it? Well, because I bought it before my room was done. I was sitting on it for like 6 months. So, yeah, that only applies to the 2x4. Kevin, I missed a part of the mini DSP conversation. If the 4x10 isn't ideal, what would you recommend for someone with more than 4 subs? Definitely not what I'm doing, which is multiple mini DSPs, because I have the older ones. Now they have the Flex 8, which I believe you got to buy a certain adapter for them, but you can run like 8 now off of one. You might want to do a little research on that, Kevin, of what adapters you need. Actually, I think if you look back to me and Brandon Hill's conversation on calibration, he actually brings that up because Brandon calibrates a lot of people's systems, and the Flex 8 is a popular option for people with more than 4 subs. So Google the mini DSP Flex 8.
I have hair once a year on Halloween, so some Peter Bruce.
You do not. Send me a picture. Send me a picture and I'll send you a 4x10 HD. Scott Newby, signature edition 4x10 DSP sponsor. The base brings us together. HBO Max pay-per-view, OnlyFans live broadcast. And the first thing people will be like, that 4x10 is a piece of shit. So probably everything else says we're not going to watch. And I should make the pay-per-view 99 cents.
Friday nights are off the hook.
There's something, man.
Okay, you got a question?
Well, this is all, you guys, man. We just wanted to build something built around the community.
Hang out with you guys.
Any benefits for port slot versus port hole? I believe, and a home theater guru would probably know better than me because he actually designs and builds subwoofers himself. But and I don't know. I don't know if like I'm on a non-disclosure on this or not, or an NDA. I think I was on an NDA at some point on what I'm going to say now. But there's a very popular subwoofer, and it's not a JTR subwoofer, but there's a very big subwoofer manufacturer that had a 6-inch porthole running the whole length of the sub, very large subwoofer. And I got to audition, and it was a prototype. They actually ended up going to a slotted port version of that subwoofer, not because it offered a better performance. It actually offered worse performance for their product. But they were afraid that if a foot broke off the subwoofer, because it was like a 300-pound subwoofer, and if a foot broke off of it and the subwoofer leaned in that direction, then the whole subwoofer would have to be sent back in for repair, and that it would be unusable. But if they have the front slot, that would not be an issue. And the only reason why that manufacturer went that route, because they thought that they would have less warranty issues. So I've heard that the slot can be like a smoother transition, but from this certain manufacturer, they said that one large port running the whole length straight through the box actually gave them better, especially low tune performance. So that probably doesn't answer your question at all, but that was my answer.
Tango says, all this porthole talking makes me think I need a girlfriend real bad. That's great.
Well, I froze up for a second.
Girlfriends are cool.
Yeah, girlfriends are cool, and sandwiches are awesome, and all the cool things that come with them.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch what I say. You said I'm gonna get canceled because I keep saying. I'm just teasing. Catherine's not forced to make me sandwiches all the time.
I sent him what was it? A link to order Matt Rife tickets, and of course it was like way out. So we go in May, and then he just released his special on Netflix, and now everybody's trying to cancel him because of.
And I said, I overpaid for these tickets for somebody I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know this guy, and he goes, by the time May gets here, watch him like not even.
Or there'll be $2
so
tickets.
I sent him the article that people were like in an uproar over. I mean, I watched it briefly. I didn't think that was that big of a deal, but yeah, he's like, see, I said there.
Edgar said I was just about to buy it, but now I won't. He's probably talking about the 4x10. You got to be jerking my chain because I'm assuming that you will talk with Seaton about the best thing for his setup because.
Well, you can give him. You got one to give away, right?
No, I'm using it right now.
I thought you said it was a piece of crap.
It is, but I still got to use it. I spent $600. If he wants to give me $650 for it, you can have it. Here, go. You take back over because I don't know where we're at.
I think I lost it too. Hold on.
So my experience, subwoofers can add to any experience, even if you have nothing. A cheap $100 subwoofer will still add something to a small pair of satellites. I'm a big advocate on adding subwoofers to any system, stereo system, home theater system. If you're on the lowest budget imaginable, get a used 8-inch or 10-inch sub. It might not knock your socks off, but just having a dedicated speaker delivering some type of bass, it'll add to the experience. So I'm a subwoofer lover of all shapes and sizes and prices. I personally like subwoofers that offer a lot of bottom end. I mean, I just like things with big bottom ends. That's why that's why I chose her. And that's just kind of what I've always liked. So
we talk about bass and
portholes and bottom ends.
That could be so fun.
Paul, my first sub was a Klipsch SW15 for the mid 1990s. Still have it. Mint condition. Am I too far ahead? Except the amp died over 10 years ago. Still rocking Klipsch cores. Yeah, man, Klipsch and Valentine were back in the day, man. They were a lot of the go-to subs. I mean, at least at the audio shops and stuff that I was hanging around in. And when I was younger, they were too much money for me, but I certainly drooled at the people that had them. Home theater gurus, because we were just talking to Kevin, the flex units are nice, but they cost more. Really nice screen and big volume knob. Yeah, and I think, I mean, if you only have 4 or under subs, I believe that the 2x4 HD are certainly the go-to. And then once you get over 4, I think is a lot when these flex units come in. Where'd you think I was going too far, Kat?
No, I mean, you're way up there.
Oh, yeah. All right, because I missed these.
I think you already put some of those I don't
know.
No,
we didn't talk about the flex unit.
Oh, sorry.
Wish with my HSU I can plug the ports and tune it. Yeah, and that's a good thing. And I've always been a fan of Dr. Hugh. I actually met Dr. Hugh at an audio convention. Dr. Hugh. Yeah. Awesome guys. And me and my dad got to experience the subs in one of the rooms at Exponent. I've always been a fan, and I always offers good bass at a good price. That definitely, and you get tuning capabilities with it as well.
I agree.
Kat's reaction was so awesome. Yeah. Hey, Kat's awesome. That's why, I mean, 12 years, man, we've been.
And because I have a big bottom.
Yeah. Well, that definitely
I think
helps.
You just mooed at me.
I find that one port blocks with my low end. Yeah, that's exactly. And that's the same thing like with the PB16s and any other ported sub. When you block the ports, you get a lower tune. You get, it's kind of like a trade-off. If you kind of got a little hump in it, and it'll like lower your overall loudness, but it'll extend the tune. I noticed that. Obviously, that was with the PB16s, all ports open. I think it's tuned around like 20 hertz. You plug one of the ports, and I think you get like a 16 or 17 hertz tune. If you have enough output, then that's awesome. Like if you get a desirable amount of output, and you're like, I'm happy with how loud this is playing, or I have access, then getting the lower port tune is cool. I just don't suggest it for somebody that feels like, I wish my subs are louder. Then by plugging that port, you're actually going to get less volume. So it's definitely good to have options, and that is an awesome thing about that sub. I've always been a big fan.
Big bottom girls make the world go round.
No doubt, Mike.
We do.
I feel you, brother, on that. I felt it in my heart. Bass and big bottoms.
If you had to pick big bottoms or bass, which would you pick?
Oh, man.
Oh, I might be hitting the curve tonight.
No, the subwoofers are in the room next door. I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't think that I'm getting rid of them. So the sealed versus ported thing, people like to battle that out all the time. If you're buying a good sub, it's going to sound good if it's tuned properly. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. They can both offer great music and a great movie experience. Sealed generally a little bit smaller, a little bit cheaper. Ported definitely usually bigger, more expensive. Ported will give you, let's just call it free bass around the port tune. Once it gets past its port tune, which is a bad thing, like if you got like a 25 hertz tune sub or something like that, then it's going to fall off real bad and you're not going to have nothing like 22 below. Sealed will go deeper. You're just going to need more of them to get the output if you're looking for extreme output.
You said deeper.
Catherine, this is a family channel, okay? But yes, we'll explore those options later. Deep in your soul. All right, guys.
Did you get through all your notes?
Yeah, I got through most of them, and we tied everybody up for an hour and 20 minutes, and I promised everybody that I only tie them up for an hour, and I got to leave in a couple hours for the airport. We are trying to put out good content and have a good time with you guys. If you're enjoying yourself, please like and subscribe to the channel. We certainly appreciate the love and support. Once again, to our Patreons, you guys rock as well, man. Just that extra support is awesome. The wet base, yeah, man, you gotta watch around here. Things get wet real fast. And we will be on here Wednesday night. Me and Kat gonna go over a couple little movie
We're gonna
reviews.
get canceled.
No, we're not gonna get canceled. No, we're on with the Friday night crew. These boys get rowdy. So yeah, we'll be on Wednesday night talking about a couple of the new movies we watched. Kat's New Christmas Village, a little Lego recap, and just hang out with you guys for an hour. We enjoy this hopefully as much as you guys do, and hope everybody has an absolute awesome evening. I got new videos coming out. I got to do the Noesis HT110s where I compared them to the RTJs. I got to do what I think about them on surround duty. I got to do the room tour, and I got 5 special guests coming up. So there's a lot of stuff going on the channel. Every free minute I get, I'm taking down a note or trying to prepare for that. So stay tuned, guys, and peace out. And we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Bye, JR Bates. Saying go. They're saying goodbye.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Talk to you guys later.